Julia Fox finally speaks up after a long silence filled with on-hold controversies. The actress's sentiment exposed how Kanye West used her as a little puppet, weaponizing her to reunite with his ex-partner Kim Kardashian. Julia is now ready to spill all the tea in her upcoming memoir entitled Down the Drain, where she'll be delving into some spicy details about her past whirlwind romance with Kanye. The eagerly awaited chapters are what we're diving into. Headlines will do the talking already, fresh and intriguing. What was its true meaning? How did Julia make such statements about her ex Kanye, claiming she was just weaponized in their relationship? First, let's clear out the confusion. Years ago, netizens buzzed with widespread headlines that Kim Kardashian and her husband Kanye West were ending their 6-year marriage. Of course, in the world of showbiz, divorce is kind of the new normal. But what makes it interesting is that amidst the ex-couple's separation, Julia suddenly entered the picture. The intensity between divorce and the pursuit of new love was a heavy drama. Julia, in her sentiment, shared a thrilling TikTok statement.
But then I had this thought, and I was like, oh my God, maybe I can get him off Kim's case. Like, maybe I can distract him, like just get him to like me.
Just like what they say, you can't take back the things that you've already said. Well, perhaps at least in some cases, but not in the case of social media, where every bit of information can be retained. This viral video of Julia from years ago has resurfaced once again. This is the reason that every statement she made on social media and in her interviews is quite contradictory. Aren't you all scratching your heads trying to figure it out already? Wasn't the headline earlier quite the opposite way? What's all this fuss about? Well, if the pieces of information you have are still not enough to piece it together, then I've got you. To give you a brief background, Kanye and Julia shared just a 2-month mix of love and controversies. So what makes that 2 months worth of narrating? Apparently, there are still numerous showbiz gossipers from back then sharing their own perceptions about Julia's honest intentions. Various theories have arisen, and of course, here are some of the few influencers who shared their 2 cents.
Julia Fox claims that the primary objective to her dating Kanye was to get Kanye off of Kim's case.
Disclaimer only, this was the perception of netizens after Julia impulsively shared that video, being readily transparent. Well, who would share such ideas before and then act like the victim now, right? It's true. This is because in her recent interview published on September 29th in the Los Angeles Times, the actress explained, "I thought ultimately I'd be helping a precarious situation, but I learned very quickly that I was being weaponized." Following her sentiment, Julia finally drops the bomb about Kanye and says, "I just felt like his little puppet." Come to think of it, but what about those lines that keep echoing about getting Kanye off Kim's case? What do you think? Is the actress just showing off her acting skills in the saga of Kanye and Kim's divorce? Or is she really sincere about her take? Well, we still have a couple more things to assess about this one, and the pieces of evidence just keep piling up. Better not miss out.
Did Julia Fox just admit that she dated Kanye for a higher social status?
Wow, who would have thought that we've got a long list of laid-up controversies in just a span of 2 months' love? What could be the odds of their short-term romance?
And also, I really feel like I've earned my place to be there. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not on their level, and I'm not saying I am.
It's without a doubt that getting involved with such big names like the talked-about model Kim Kardashian and the famous rapper Kanye West is really something you should think twice about meddling with. But with Julia, well, some netizens just speculated that she's just in it for the clout, hoping it could make her more famous. After the headlines about Julia trying to speak up about her ex, Kanye, various netizens did not seem to agree with her. One user tweeted, "She knew exactly what he was trying to do. She just wanted the clout." This kind of perspective echoes across social media, and one TikTok user also commented, "She is still trying to squeeze out more fame from her thing with mentally ill Kanye." Another TikTok user shared the same thoughts and replied, "She knew exactly what she was doing. She blew up after dating him. She needed him." However, Julia might have anticipated all the hate and speculations that were going to hit her. So she shut down all of these by addressing the issue on Nicki Takesh's podcast, Forbidden Fruits. She stated that she's always been sincere and that her intentions and motives for getting involved with Kanye have nothing to do with fame. In the podcast, she said, "People are like, oh, you're only in it for the fame, you're in it for the clout, you're in it for the money." me. Honey, I've dated billionaires my entire adult life. Let's keep it real. Julia also exclaimed that her career is the total opposite of what people think. She reasoned that with Kanye's stirred up issues during their relationship, her legacy was also at stake, and she was also affected by it. She also shared in one of her recent interviews with ES Magazine where she said, "It was just like, he still wants to hang out with me today, let's do it," she told ES Magazine. And then real life set in, and the lifestyle wasn't sustainable. "I couldn't fly away once a week, and I tapped out at the first sign of a red flag." And then she added this testament: "It just seems like he had a lot to work on, and I just don't have time for it or energy. I don't have the bandwidth or emotional capacity for it. I'm proud of myself for that." Besides, it's without a doubt that the independent actress was also transparent about her feelings days after she and Kanye broke up. Julia stated that they were still on good terms with Kanye despite the whirlwind romance they had been through. And fast forward to these days, where the story of Julia Fox isn't something you'll just be hearing, but also soon to be reading. Julia's life in general is now set forth with words scribbled in her memoir entitled Down the Drain. This book will cover some bits recounting the times they were together with Kanye. If you might be wondering, how can Julia write a memoir containing her experience with Kanye without consent? Julia made it clear that she could talk about her experience with the troubled artist because she didn't sign a confidentiality agreement. On the other hand, Kanye had no response when E! News tried to gather some comments. But hey, it's not finished yet. I mean, not the book, but this tea, because there's still something to spill. We're not yet at the end of this thrilling controversy because we've still got some hot takes for you, one that will leave you with raised eyebrows. Did you know that, speaking of the book that Julia is going to publish, the actress model stirred up another curiosity? Well, it's not about some typical controversies this time, but rather a confusing one. In the liberated environment of the entertainment industry, wherein explicit content breaks the streets of boundaries, Julia and Kanye's sensual life was a whole lot different. This is because Julia brings up that there was no sexual intimacy that happened between her and Kanye. It's surprising that this aspect of their relationship is not included in her book. Their sex life, as she explained to the New York Times last month, there wasn't any, and later added that the romance wasn't really about that. This left the netizens bemused once again because Julia's statement was once again contradicting what it was before. This was because she hinted in a Showtime's Xiao interview about knowing Kanye's intimate size. Well, this isn't necessarily something to be disclosed, but the level of skepticism about Julia's narrative is really confusing. As we reach the end of navigating the complexities of love interests and the issues surrounding celebrities, what conclusions have you arrived at regarding these concepts?
Like a shady ulterior motive.
Right.
Which I think is like super crucial.
Is this some shady ulterior motive, or perhaps...
And I feel like I went very lightly on it. You know, I'm not trying to have bad blood or anything, you know.
Can you believe the tangled mess of genuine emotions and hidden intentions we've just uncovered? Scandalous, right? We're dying to know what you make of this juicy saga. Spill the tea in the comments below, and of course make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for your daily dose of scandalous entertainment.